Alright guys, what's going on? It's Abner with the Not Original channel. Doing a review because, again, we're not original. And today we're going to do a review for HBO's The Last of Us Season 1. The final episode just dropped, and I just watched it. So this is going to be pretty much just a recap of the entire season and what I thought about it, and obviously the finale. And The Last of Us, the first game is literally one of my favorite games of all time. It's the second favorite game. I try to play this game at least once a year. Right around fall, November, Christmas, for some reason, I like to play it in that era. I love this game. I love the gameplay, I love the story, I love the world, I love all of it. It's an incredible game. A lot of people say it's generic when it comes to gameplay because it's just a third-person stealth shooter with zombies. But the story and the characters is what really gives the game the status that it has. And it just got its live-action adaptation, and I can safely say that HBO's The Last of Us game adaptation, or live-action adaptation of the game, is the best video game adaptation ever made. The best. It understands the characters, it understands the story, it understands where it's coming from, what we wanted to see out of an adaptation. And obviously, not everything's going to be exact, or, obviously the biggest change for me in the show was Bill's character in the game. The whole entire third episode was completely different than in the game, but completely. The only thing that's the same is the character's name, but other than that, the character is completely different. Similar in the things that, like, he's a survival nut, survival of the fittest, blah 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 blah, but just a completely different character. They just wrote him differently. In the game, he never changes, and Frank ultimately hates him for it, and he wants to leave, but then he kills himself. But in the show, no, they really do have a marriage. They really do have a partnership. So that was nice to see. I think of all the episodes, my favorite one would have to be the number 5. When you see the bloater in that finale, and it's Sam and Henry's episode. Because I think my favorite part of the game itself is that whole city section when you meet Sam and Henry. And it's my favorite section because of the sewer level. And the sewer level is not just awesome because of its of the, how do I say it, the sewer level. The reason that I love it is because at the beginning, before you go in, so when you wake up, when you're knocked out by the rock, when you jump off the bridge, you start fighting little notes from a boat all the way down to the sewer. And I love that part because it's like it's visual and world storytelling. You're not hearing somebody tell you the story, you're finding clues around the world while you're visiting the sewer system community, and you're reading these notes of how it started, how it went, and how it ended, and what happened to some of the characters after it ended. Because right before you get ambushed, when you got that sniper mission, when you got that sniper section, you find a note in one of the first houses that you see, like, I was able to escape with a few kids and one of the teachers or whatever. So that's my whole favorite part of the game. And they did that episode pretty well, even though that wasn't in the game at all. But the community was there. At least they kept that. And they mentioned, like, somebody made a mistake, and I've heard things of, communities like this that survive on the ground, so that was pretty cool. And yeah. But the show itself was just good all around. HBO dumped millions of dollars, and the show has already been renewed for season 2. I was hoping that it wasn't going to be. And inside, I was like hoping that they would change the story like a lot. This is gonna be the spoiler section now. Spoiler. I'm gonna I'm gonna give you the review quickly, and then I'm gonna give you a spoiler. So in general, the show, all the episodes were good. Episode 1 was a fantastic pilot. Episode 2, when you get the clickers, awesome. Episode 3, that story, well done, well acted, well written. Episode 4, when they reach the city, and you can see their relationship, their bond growing, and you can see Joel laughing at the end, awesome. Episode 5, you see the bloater and the whole Sam and Henry story and how they changed it, really well done. The characters were really done. The Sam change, with where he was deaf, wasn't necessary, but it didn't do anything, like, it didn't bother me, so well done still. The character was still practically the same, except a little younger. He was more of a child in this show. Episode 6 was when they find Tommy. Very well. Almost exactly the same, except that Tommy is now a father to be. But other than that, oh man, Pedro Pascal's performance in that episode. I think that's one of the best things about the show itself. The amount of time that they have to explore the characters now. Because they didn't have that much time in the game. Because in a game, you have the cutscenes and then gameplay. You have to have fun. You have to be engaged, and you have to, do that. But in the show, obviously, it's totally different. It's storytelling, and you have some moments of like, whoa. But in the game, they give you the perfect balance between gameplay and story. And here, it's all story and some tension sections here and there. Episode 7, where Ellie's just out here surviving, trying to protect, episode 6, they find Tommy. Episode 7 is when they're trying to get to the hospital. They get there, and then Joel gets impaled. Not impaled, but stabbed. And then episode 8, it starts surviving in the whole David section. The David character was not more menacing here than in the show, than in the game. I preferred him in the game mostly because of the actor, Nolan North. I believe he's the actor that plays David. He did such an incredible job. I just found him more creepy in the game. And like in this show, they would have to tell you things to make the character creepy. The actor did a good job, but they would have to tell you things. And his character would have to do things to make him more villainous or creepy, like slap the little girl, or directly tell them like, oh, I couldn't let them starve, we had to eat them. Or obviously he's a pedophile, he's a rapist, but him saying it like, oh, I like it when you struggle, that didn't happen in the game. You just knew because of how the character acted and how his mannerisms and all that. So I think the character of David specifically was a lot better in the game. I think all the characters in the show were better in the show than in the game, except for David. And when I say better, I don't mean the acting at all, because I still prefer the cutscenes in the game above to the show, 100%. What I mean is that the time that they give the characters to progress and grow, right? Each character just gets time to shine. Even at the beginning with Sarah, you really start off with her and her day-to-day, how she provides, how she takes care of these old people. So every character had just more like... I loved that Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson were a part of the show. I wish that Troy and Ashley were both Ellie's parents, instead of making him, Troy, like just that generic dude from the game that goes get the pills and then comes back, I would have preferred them to be like just they did with episode 9. Ellie's her mom and Joel's her, and Troy Baker's her dad, and they're both running away. They're both bit, and they just want to protect their baby and make sure it gets somewhere safe, and then they have to kill themselves or whatever. That would have been, to me, more powerful, even if Troy Baker would have been, because he was in the episode for a good bit, and Ashley was only there for about 5 to 10 minutes, but I would have preferred that. Yeah, man. Episode 8, when she, it's her versus David at the end, and then Joel finds her finally. And episode 9, it went by so quick. It did not feel, getting Joel's, like, and when I say that the characters are better, again, it's because they have more time to shine. When Joel and Ellie sit down and Joel's telling her about how he feels and what he did and his scar, and all that is like, and then he opens up and he tells him it wasn't time that made it better. Because in the game, he doesn't do it. There's so much that he could explain for her to understand what he's going through, like what he's feeling, but he just doesn't do it. He's a lot more stoic in the game. Here, he's a lot, he laughs with her, he connects with her, he talks to her, he wants her, he opens up. He really opens up more than in the game, which I do like. Even though I still prefer Troy Baker's performance, and I still prefer the game above from the show. I still do. I think the game is better than the show. I do. They just had more time to develop the characters correctly. That's all that this show for me has on top of the game. Everything else for me in the game does it better, except the time that it gives these characters. So, I think it's the best video game adaptation ever. I think they did an amazing job recreating the world, the actors. I think Bella Ramsey did a good job. I don't think she's the perfect Ellie, because, like, the emotional moments, I don't think that she, obviously, the actress that played Ellie in the game, Ashley Johnson, can't come back and be Ellie. But I think that Ashley Johnson did do a better performance as this character. And obviously, if they would have changed it, the lines specifically, when she's having emotional moments, it would be a whole different story, because Bella Ramsey is a good actress. But since they kept the emotional moments with the same lines, pretty much, like when she's fighting with Joel in the 7th episode, about like him wanting to leave her, blah blah blah, and then at the end of the 9th episode when she's saying the lines like, "Oh, me and my best friend were in the mall, and she lost her mind," like those lines are exactly almost the same, and I can say that Ashley Johnson did a much better job in the emotion and delivery for me. So even though I think Bella Ramsey did a great job, and I could say the same thing about Pedro. There are certain lines that he says that are the exact same line as Joel's, like that last line before he kills Marlene, "You just come after her." I just felt like Troy Baker give it so much more, just because Troy Baker can control his voice so well, and obviously Pedro Pascal, he is a great actor. But when he said the line, I was like, it's good. He's a good actor, but maybe I don't know. It's just those little things, and it's impossible not to compare to the game because it's the same exact line, you know. So anyway, that's it. I think it's the best video game adaptation. Better than Sonic, better than Mortal Kombat, better than Street Fighter, those trash movies, whatever shows they've done before, like TV shows. I think they cheated, obviously, because they have a whole show. They have 9 episodes, right? And there's no need for gameplay. This is just storytelling, and tension. Best episodes are episode 2 and 5 for me. Okay. Episode 1, 2, and 5. Because in that first episode, they are building the world around you, and I love that episode. 10 out of 10 episode. Episode 2, 10 out of 10. Episode 5, 10 out of 10. Episode 3, I'll give it like an 8.5, and it's not because the whole love story thing, oh, the gays. No, bro, it's the same as the game, except that here, they actually fleshed it out. They gave you the story of what happened before Joel found Bill. And like I said, Bill is different. But still. Episode 3 is just that episode that I'm like, it's great, well done, well written, and well acted. Nick Offerman, my man. And the actor who played Frank, forget his name. Great job for the both of them. Fantastic. But it's like the one episode where you look at it and it's like, Nothing happened. They just set up Bill and Joel's relationship, that they know each other and that they work together, and then they set up the fact that he got the car from him just to destroy it 10 minutes later in the next episode. So that's where I'm like, in the game you spend hours with Bill, and they have this back and forth, and it's funny between him and Ellie. But in the show he's like there, and you see him in one scene with Joel, and then that's it, and the rest is just his story with Frank. I just think that the whole Frank thing could have been like 20 minutes of the first episode, just built like the beginning, like when they meet, when they do the piano thing, when they're together, and then just speed run through it. I don't need to see how he got cancer or something. Like, I don't know, I just felt like, yeah, it was sad, man. It was sad because it was so well done. But I'm like, when I look back at it, it's like, of all the episodes, that's the one that it doesn't do anything for the story at all. And if you tell me, oh, they got the car, they destroyed the car 10 minutes later with everything that was inside of it. They didn't do nothing. They didn't do nothing. But other than that, I think it was a great episode. Well done. And that's it. Just smashing show all around. I'm not going to give it a 10 out of 10. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 all around. Some episodes are 10 out of 10. Like I said, episodes 1, 2, and 5 for me are 10s out of fucking 10s. But, and you could say, oh, it's because that's the episodes where they're most infected. Maybe that's the fucking reason I wanted to watch the show. Because I wanted to see how well they recreated these creatures. Well fucking done. The intros at the beginning of the second episode, where you see this doctor, like, she's like, you know, they're pretty much showing you where the cordyceps virus started, and the doctor's like, bomb the whole city. Kill us all. Like, that line, when she said that, I was like, okay, this is serious. This is good. It was good. I love those things. When they go back in time and show you something from the perspective of somebody else. Primo shit, man. That's it. Yeah, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Great show. Best video game adaptation to date for me, at least in live action. I don't know. I will have to think about like other shows and stuff. But I think in general, it's the best to ever do it. Craig Mazin did an incredible job. Bella Ramsey and Pedro, all the cast members. Gabriel Luna, I think, is the character who plays Tommy. I think everybody did a great job all around. It deserves the praise that it's getting. It does, because it's a good show. And for the people who are gamers, and who aren't just gamers in general, I'm glad that they are able to see the story. That's it.